So the first chapter is the fundamental chapter, which is related to, which is having internal connection with every chapter, every, like you can take physics, chemistry, whatever it is, mathematics. This is the basic thing. That is what, like, units and measurement. So now, before going to study this units and measurement, it's not the new thing. Class 8th, we are studying, like, you might be see measuring the volume of a irregular objects, measuring the volume of a regular objects, like regular shapes, cube, cuboid, volume of a sphere, area of a rectangle, like this, many things we used to measure. Yes or no, guys? Yes. So you might take, even in our daily life, you might be discuss. Let us start with the basic thing. You people take consider us. The basic thing we will discuss basically when you see somebody, like, we can say he is very lean, he is very fatty, he may be, you know, like 100 kg, he might be 50 kg, he might be, like, we will guess. So that is the first physical quantity which we people, like, when we see any object, either it is a heavier or it is a lighter, what is it? That's what we'll discuss. Physical quantity, so which we will measure, is mass. So like that, you can see in our surroundings when we are seeing the objects, we try to measure the mass of the object, we try to measure the length of the object, we try to measure the, for example, time taken to complete the work. Is it yes or no, guys? We try to measure the volume, we try to measure the temperature, we try to measure the pressure. Like this, many things we will discuss when we are suppose as we are living in a nature where we'll be having good relation. So if you take this, all the parameters which is happening in our surroundings, these things basically we used to call it as physical quantities. So that is the basic definition which is we are going to study in this chapter. This is the first definition which will represent with the PQ, physical quantity. So what do you mean by physical quantity? That's what we'll say. Directly definition, no need to study anything. No descriptive questions from class 11. So write directly physical quantity. The quantities which can be measured. How we can measure? By instruments. And you remember which can is actually entire physics. What do you mean by physics? First of all, you should know. Physics means, I will say, according to my words, physics means, I will say, it's a nature. Because entire physics will deals about what are the phenomena taking place in the nature and what are the laws behind it, what are the principles are behind it, and how it is existing, what ways we can measure it, how we can define it. That is what is physics. That is why we can say physics is having a very, very closer relations to the nature, very, very, very needy relations to the human beings for our survival or as well as development of society, and any aspects you can take it, because it will deals about nature and its laws. That's what we can say. It's discussed about a physical world, which means in our surroundings. If you have taken, like, for example, from the olden days to now, we are having a trading. If you have taken measurements of liquids, measurement of masses of the solids, everything, this all the things is because of physics. That's what you have to know. So every part of our life is physics is like directly or indirectly, it is already there. So that's what, if you take anything, when we are describing the object, when we are measuring the object, when we are counting the objects, when we are observing the nature, definitely we will get some of the things which I described in the above. So these things only which we are measuring. If you have taken mass, I will use a that device which will measure the mass. That is what we can say. What basically, what is the device we'll use to measure the mass? Class 9th you might be studying. Anybody? Yes, please. Mass is to measure by what, Mr. Pradosh? Beam balance. Beam balance theriyada? You all people knows, correct? Beam balance means it will be like a one big bar and two sides it will be having a plate. People knows or not? Trasu. Tamil also will say trasu. Is it? Please respond. Can you hear me? Hello.
Sir.
Yeah. So that is what. So this is the instrument which we are used to measure the mass. So if I am measuring the mass of the object by using a beam balance, which will describe this physical quantity, so which will describe this physical world. So that is why a mass is considered as a physical quantity. So like not only mass, any kind of things, a quantities which can be measured, by an instrument and which describes, if you are silent, there is no difference between class 10th and 11. Now you are just only four members. Now also if you are silent, what's the use? Describes the loss of which word? Physical word. Clear? So that is what is physical quantity. So if you have taken any physical quantity, keep it in mind, all of you, it is a product of two things. That is what? N into U. What do you mean by N? That is only we can say numerical value. N means what? Numerical value. Even if you go to the basic language, you might be all very familiar. I used to use this word so many times. What is that, Mr. Pradosh? Magnitude. And U means, you might be understand, heading, topic itself, it is there. U means what? It is the unit. So unit means it's a comparison. We are comparing. Suppose I am saying, let me take for example, what is the comparison? Sir, how you will say it is a comparison? For example, let us consider, you might be understand. So what is this numerical value? Numerical value means how many times, number of times of what we are considering, number of times of one unit. That is only called as N. N is a numerical value of the unit and unit is a comparison. So let us take, you might be understand with a small example. If I'll say for example, let me take Mr. Pradosh. Now this is Mr. Pradosh and let me take, this is Mr. Rudreshwar. I'm just considering this both. Now I will say the weight of Mr. Pradosh is 150 times is greater than weight of Mr. Rudreshwar. So now you tell me, what is the physical quantity I am measuring here? Anybody? Yes, please. What is the physical quantity I am measuring here?
Weight.
So tell me. Physical quantity is what I am measuring. A physical quantity is the product of two things. This 150 is called as what, guys? Is 150 is called as what? N. N means what? What I have written? Number of times of unit. That is what it is. What is the unit, Pradosh? What is the physical? What we are measuring? We are actually measuring what? We are measuring the weight. So the comparison only, how I am comparing is only called as a physical quantity. So now I am saying Mr. Pradosh's weight is 150 times greater than Mr. Rudreshwar. So this 150 is a comparison with whom? Somebody's. Suppose let me take, if I have taken, for example, I will take a cow. You might be all knows a cow and I will take a goat. Now tell me, just for your reference, if I take a cow, definitely cow weight will be bigger or not. If I will take now, weight of a cow is equals to 20 times greater than a weight of a goat. So I will say the physical quantity is equals to N means what? Sorry, 20 means what? Number of times considering, and weight is the unit. Are you clear, everybody? Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
All of you. So that is what is physical quantity. Like this, we'll be having plenty of physical quantities: volume, surface area, normal area. We can take lot of things. We'll get density, molarity. Class 9th mole concept I have taught you. Do you remember, everybody? Mole concept. Number of. Yes, please. So like this, we'll be having everything is called as what is to call physical quantities. Now, these physical quantities, we are going to segregate into three types. That is what? Please make it types of physical quantities. Remember, this chapter, maybe beginning you might be feel boring, but it will be very interesting chapter, and as well as it will be having a lot of complexities also. One small error will make you get entire answer is going to be wrong. So types of physical quantities. Keep in mind, physical quantities are we are going to make it into two types. Till now you might be studied like if you take Pradosh 8th class, I have taught him physical quantities are two types. Do you remember Pradosh? Now it will become three types. So what it is, let us discuss now. So the physical quantities are three types. First one is called as fundamental physical quantities. Are you clear, everybody? Next one is called as derived physical quantities, and next one is called as supplementary physical quantities. Okay, so it will be very simple. Only two physical quantities we have under supplementary, so it will be very, very easy. So let us define one by one and what they are, and we are going to study now. So make it everybody, get ready. Right, keep it heading. Fundamental physical quantities. You might be see class 8 and class 9. If you ask me, I will say 4 are the fundamental physical quantities. But by this time I add a statement, you will go to class 11, you might be, the number 4 becomes 7. So totally only we have 7 fundamental quantities. With the help of that 7 fundamental quantities, we are having hundreds of next quantities. What is that quantities, everybody? Yes, please. Derived quantities. So if you have taken the fundamental physical quantities, keep it in mind, physics is always imagination, as well as each and everything you have to know in this. So totally how many fundamental physical quantities we have? 7. So what do you mean by fundamental quantities means? Keep it in mind, the physical quantities which do not depend on anything. That is what depend on any other physical quantity. So that is what we used to call as which physical quantities? Fundamental physical quantities. Clear, everybody?
Sir.
So that is what. So let us
Yes,
write.
sir.
As I told you, always you must be very familiar with the one system of units. Can you tell me what is the system of units we have to study, Mr. Pradosh? Always I will say, yes, please. SI system. So that is what it is, as we all know, standard international systems. So that is what we have to know. Of course, in class 11, they will introduce 4 system of units, but we need only, we will study one system of unit, that is SI unit and its symbol. So let us write all the 7 physical quantities one by one. So you will understand. In this, most of them things we already know. The first fundamental physical quantity is length. Keep it in mind, all of you. So length, what is the SI unit? All of you, meter, and symbol is smaller. Next, the second physical quantity, fundamental physical quantity is mass. So what is the SI unit of mass? Kilogram and kg, capital K, small g. Next, physical quantity is time. Write it, please. Time, and the units of time we all know. What is that? Second, and symbol is yes. Next, the fourth one is temperature. Temperature. What is the SI unit of temperature, those?
Kelvin.
Kelvin. Kelvin, capital K. Okay. Next, the fifth one is electric current. So we all know electric current. Class 10th, I have only taught you. Can you tell me what is electric current? Sudheshwar? Yes, please. Please be loud.
Sir, ampere.
Ampere, and the symbol is A. Next, you might be heard a word called as intensity of light. Rod cells and cone cells. We might be studied. Do you remember that, everybody?
Sir.
Yes, please. And you might be know speed of light in air. What is the word we'll write? What is the symbol will represent speed of light in air? Will represent with
C.
the C. That speed of light is only next physical quantity which you are going to study. Just I am saying for your purpose. So that is only luminous intensity. What is that? Luminous intensity. Write it. Luminous intensity. The unit is candela. And remember, symbol is CD. Next, As we all know, amount of substance. Class number 9, chapter number 3, we will use. To measure the amount of substance, we will use a new concept. Only numericals will solve in that chapter. Yes, please. Amount of substance. Yes, please. To measure how many particles, how many grams.
Molarity.
Yes, please.
Molarity.
Molarity, not
Mole per
yes, Pradosh. Class 9th, chapter number 3, Pradosh. What is that concept?
Mole concept.
Mole concept. And the unit, the SI unit is mole, symbol is MOL. Clear? So these 7 are called as what physical quantities? Fundamental physical quantities. So with the help of these fundamental physical quantities, we are going to derive future new things. That fundamental, that quantities, what we used to call, guys, which are depending, which are made from fundamental physical quantities, made up of fundamental physical quantities. What they are called as? Everybody, they are called as, yes, please, they are called as derived physical quantities. So can you guess any derived physical quantities? Let me take area. So what is the SI unit of area, Pradosh? It is the
Square meter.
So how it is be derived? It is a derived 2 times of length is considered, or 1 time of length plus 1 time of breadth. If you have taken, that is only we used to called as area. Is it yes or no, guys? You can consider even length 2 times. Is it right or wrong? Is it length? Yes or no, Laksha? Length, if I consider also, it is called as what? Area only. So area is a depend on length. So it is a derived physical quantity or fundamental physical quantity? Yes, please. Derived physical quantity. Next, if you have taken volume. So we all knows volume. Volume means what, Rudreshwar? What is the SI unit of volume? You all people knows. Yes, please. Meter. You should involve in the class cubic meter. So can you tell me, it has been depend on what physical quantities? You can depend. It has been depend on length. It has been depend on breadth. Breadth means also what? Length only, correct, Pradosh? Yes, please. Breadth means
Yes,
also length only. What do you mean by height? Height also what? Height also what?
length.
Length. Are you clear? So everything is length only. Next, if you have taken the force. So what is the force, guys? Let me take now velocity. Yeah, velocity will take, later we'll go to force. Now velocity. What is the formula of velocity? Everybody? What is the formula of velocity?
Speed into displacement.
Yes, Ray, brothers, what you are talking? Speed ille. Yes means what? Velocity I am asking, brothers. Velocity or speed, both are same. Keep it in mind. Speed means distance by time. Velocity means what? Displacement by time. Are you clear, everybody? What is the symbol of displacement? Yes, please. Symbol of displacement. What try, people? Meter per second is the SI unit. Symbol of displacement, what it is? What is the symbol of displacement I have written here? Am I audible?
Yes,
Then why
sir.
I am asking symbol of displacement? What is the symbol of displacement I have written?
Yes, sir.
And then what? So displacement by time. What, for those you forget everything? Huh? Meter per second is the SI unit. So meter means what actually? Displacement means what? What is the physical quantity? Can you tell me? Displacement means what is the physical quantity will take? Length.
Length.
Time means what? Time. So what is the 2 physical quantities depend here? Velocity depends on 2 physical quantities. One is length. Next one is what? Time. So that is what you have to remember. Next, let us take next physical quantity. We all know force. So can you tell me what is the force? Newton's second law. Newton's second law. Okay. Mass into acceleration. Yeah. Mass into acceleration. I know you people will never forget. I don't know what is happening. Force equals to mass into acceleration. So now, as we all know, what is the unit of mass? What is the unit of mass?
kg.
Kilogram into what is the unit of acceleration? Meter per second square. Understanding? So it is dependent on how many physical quantities. It is dependent on time. It is dependent on mass. It is length, and it is dependent on what? Kilo mass. So That is only kept in mind. 1 Newton is the SI unit of force. Newton is the SI unit of force. 1 Newton is equals to 1 kilogram per kilogram meter per second square. You remember 9th class you studied or not? How many times you have written that? Yes, please. That is
Yes,
what
sir.
you have to remember. Next, if you have taken the work. So what is the formula for work? Everybody, work is a what? Force into displacement. So what is the unit of force? Newton. And displacement. Displacement means what, guys? Displacement means what?
Yes.
Yes, that is what is the unit, Pradosh?
Meter.
What is the unit of displacement?
Meter.
Meter. Means which physical quantities depend? Which fundamental physical quantity?
Length.
Length.
So now this only actually is a normal. The SI unit of work done or work is equals to joule. Okay, if you are not remembering, no problem. What is the SI unit of work done? It's a joule. So if you have taken the 1 joule, I can say 1 Newton into 1 meter. Now just now we studied 1 Newton means what here? What I written here 1 Newton means?
1 kilogram meter per second.
Yes.
1 kilogram.
1 joule is equals to 1 kilogram meter per second square into 1 meter. Now you add it and tell me, everybody, what will happen? This one, 1 kilogram meter into meter, what? Square meter by second square. This is what 1 joule. Keep in mind. Once again, I'm saying very, very important. 1 Newton is equals to 1 kilogram meter per second square. But 1 joule means what? Kilogram meter square per second square. Do you understand those differences?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So like this, I can make so many. If you have taken density. So what is the symbol of density? I used to tell you so many times. Of course, you can take D or you can take rho, whatever it is. So density is equals to what? Mass by
Volume.
volume. SI unit is kilogram per cubic meter. So what is the physical quantities it is depending on? Like fundamental physical quantities, it is depend on mass and it is depend on what? Don't say volume. Volume is also a derived quantity. Then what is that? You should say volume means what? Just now I told you. Volume means what? What you have written volume means?
Length.
Length into
Length.
width into height means length. Like that, the quantities which were deriving from the fundamental quantities, which are made up of fundamental quantities, we used to call it as what quantities? Derived quantities. Is it okay, everybody? Yes, please. All of you.
Yes, sir.
Next, third type of quantities. What is the name of the third type of quantities? Everybody?
Supplementary.
Yeah. Supplementary physical quantities. So we are having only two. These both are dimensionless quantities. Can you tell me what is the dimensionless quantities, please? Anyone? Dimension